Hi lovelies, I'm Lou. This is my second week summary of my Mounjaro journey. On the screen behind the camera, I have a list of the highlights of everything that's happened this week. And then I'm going to go into a little bit more information for those that want to know a bit more in depth everything that's been going on. So overall, it's been good. I have lost weight. I also had a gain, which was a bit frustrating. I'll go into that. My sleep has improved. It's not great. It's not exactly where it was before, but it's certainly going on the right track. I've exercised 6 days out of 7, which is good. I have a new and improved food plan, which includes protein with every meal. That's been my biggest target to work on. I've actually started tracking my food a little bit, not fully, but a little bit. I've fasted each day for at least 15 hours, some days more. I took all of my vitamins every day, including collagen and creatine and electrolytes, which are new things that I've added to my regime. I've drank well over 2 litres of fluid every day. And I also remembered to take my jab because there was an instance where nearly I forgot. Okay, so that is in summary how my week has gone. So I'm going to go into more detail now for anyone that wants to know that little bit more of the nitty-gritty side of things. So first and foremost, the $1 million question, the one that everyone wants to know, did I lose any weight? And I did. So let me see. I lost in week 2 1.4 pounds, which is a total of 5.2 pounds over the 2 weeks since I started my journey. Now, bearing in mind, I'm only aiming for 1 to 2 pounds a week. So a lot of people might look at that and think that's pretty crap, but I'm happy with that. And the reason as well that I'm happy with it is because on the Sunday, which was the day before my final weigh-in to do the summary for these videos, I actually gained 1.2 pounds overnight. And I was on track. I think on the Saturday when I weighed myself, I was 1.8 down, so then gained 1.2, but managed to lose enough on the Monday for it to be 1.4 overall. Hopefully you're all still keeping up with the figures there. And it was incredibly frustrating on the Sunday to weigh myself and to see that there was a gain. Just initially, my thoughts were, I thought the days of gaining would be behind me. Why is this happening? You know, and actually I'd sent, okay, stop playing with your hair. I'd actually sent my mum and my brother a WhatsApp message letting them know, stop playing with your hair. On the Monday, once I had assessed what my total loss for the week was, I actually sent a message to my mum and my brother, and I'm going to read out what I wrote to them because as I was writing it, it really came from the heart. It was genuinely how I felt and how I've been feeling all week about it. So I'm going to read out what I said to them, which was, there are a raft of reasons why I could have had a gain. Bad sleeps, ovulating, eating more protein, increased exercise, wasn't active one day, water retention, muscle gain, anything. All I know is that it wasn't down to negligence or being bad. I'm still further along and lighter than I would have been if I wasn't on Mounjaro. So overall, I'm happy. And I'm happy that I've got the right attitude about it all too. So that really is how I feel. I think people that are debating about going on this drug, that they might watch this and think, oh, well, you know, I don't think that would be worth the money. But honestly, for some, like I've been struggling to consistently lose weight for a really long time. Like I will lose and then eventually it will go back on, even though I've changed absolutely nothing about my regime. At the end of the day, if I still continue to lose that amount per week, that is going to be progress overall. And by the time Christmas comes, today is, what day is it today? Today's the 12th of August. So I have no idea when this video will actually be posted. Sorry, a little bit of a side note there, but I haven't even gotten around to editing these videos yet. So, and I'm away on holiday next week. So it'll probably be a little while before this is actually online. Hopefully by the time this is online and you're watching it, I will have made much more progress and I'll be able to post that. And hopefully be on my way at I don't want to set an expectation of where I'm going to be at Christmas time. So long as I'm lighter than I am now, I'll be happy with that. You know, anything is a bonus. And just looking at the week overall, the bonus is that there are more days that I have lost than there are days that I have gained or maintained. The weight is going in the right direction. It might be slow, but that I'm happy with that. I've said that in another video, but I've said before that I'm happy for this to be a slow process. I don't want to be losing tens of pounds and having lots of loose skin and everything after. I want to get my fitness levels up in time with everything. This isn't a race for me. So that's the in-depth explanation for all the weight. Get into the improved sleep. So my sleep still isn't great. It's certainly not how it was before I started Mounjaro. I mean, my sleep wasn't even great then. So I would say that most weeks I would have maybe 3 nights a week where I didn't sleep well, but those 4 nights that I did sleep well, you know, it all evened out and it was a nice balance and I knew how to tackle those. Whereas the sleep difficulties I'm getting now with being on Mounjaro, it's bizarre. Like for the first week, it was the fact that I was taking so long to get to sleep. And then once I was asleep, I was waking up all the time and sometimes being awake for prolonged periods of time as well. So what I would say in the last week, I'm definitely getting to sleep a lot easier. I'm still waking up a lot, but I'm not staying awake as often. I did one night, that was on the Saturday night, so the night before I had my bad weigh-in, I really didn't sleep very well at all. I think I only got about 3 hours and I was awake the rest of the night. And yeah, waking up a lot during the night. I have trained myself over the years that if I wake up during the night, I don't check what time it is. But I am checking the time with this, I think just so that I can properly assess what's going on. And I always seem to wake up between 2 and 4. I've no idea why that is. I don't know. I can't think of any sort of trends that might be causing that, but that's what's happening. The good news is that I am getting back to sleep quicker. God, your hair's a mess. You're ruining your hair. Up next is the exercise. So I explained last week that I was doing a real gradual, slow implementation when it came to my exercise, and it was only I think 16 minutes that I was doing. So it was 7 minutes of movement, 9 minutes of strength training with a resistance band. So I've now added another song to the playlist, which is about 4 minutes. So that is a total of 20 minutes. And in the last 4, I've started doing core work. So I've been using my wellness ball where I've been doing stomach crunches and sit-ups, and I've also been doing a reverse crunch to work on my lower back, because it's really important that whatever muscle you work on, that you also work on the opposite muscle. So if you're working on your biceps, you want to work on your triceps. If you're working on your core, you want to work on your lower back. But just for disclaimer, I am not a fitness expert. That's just something I've picked up along the way. And for me in particular, I have major back issues. Like that's a bad side effect that I deal with being overweight, but also with my fibromyalgia. It's a real every day is a hurdle with my back. Most days, you know, it could take me a long time to get out of bed in the morning, and because I work out first thing in the morning, my back is very sore and tender, and it's still kind of waking up for the day. So I like to do a lot of extra stretching and work on it to try and build the strength up. I've also been really active around the house. From Thursday, I think I've done a video on this where I was looking at my sort of cleaning list for the house, my cleaning schedule, and I was really behind in a lot of odd jobs that don't need to be done every week, but sort of sporadically. I thought this was the perfect opportunity to make sure that I'm keeping busy and active and proactive. Plus, I don't know why, but like it always seems to be a good idea to do a spring clean before you go on holiday, so that when you come back from holiday, your house is immaculate. So that's probably something to do with it as well. So I've been really busy around the house, and there have been a lot of errands and shops that I've needed to go to recently, and I've been trying to break them up over the days so that I'm getting out and about and also getting my steps in for the day. I'm not counting steps at the moment, but I know that whatever movement I do is a bonus. So there we are with the exercise. My meal plan. So I go shopping every Thursday, which means my meal plans run from a Thursday to a Wednesday. for my shopping on Thursday, I had created this new food plan for the week where I was making sure that I was having protein at every single meal. So my breakfasts, I would either have a yogurt or I would have a kefir bowl that I would make up. Kefir is a type of yogurt. It's exactly the same as yogurt. It's just got added probiotics in it. So it's kind of I want to say it's like yogurt on acid, but I'm worried that people take that the wrong way. So it's just got added probiotics, so it's even better for your gut health, which is something that I always work on or try to focus on when I'm creating my meals. So I would always start the day with some sort of yogurt base for my protein, but also in my kefir bowl, I would have a lot of seeds and nuts. I've done a video where I make up this bowl so that people can see what's in it. I'll either add that in this one or I'll create a separate one for it, or maybe a short, so keep an eye out for that. I've tried to incorporate smoothies again. I haven't been having smoothies for a really long time. I used to have them all the time last year. But these are great because you can add in a scoop of protein powder. But I had one the other day and it seemed to really upset my stomach. And within an hour, I was in the bathroom with loose bowels. So I'm not sure what was in the smoothie that my stomach didn't like. I will try having one again. If I react the same way, then I'm not going to have any smoothies because I don't want to be triggering my stomach in any kind of negative way, which would be a real shame because you can really pack in loads of nutrients in a smoothie. It's a great way to get extra fruits and veggies. So I've been enjoying my breakfast every day. Breakfast is not something that I'm used to having from my days when I used to do intermittent fasting all the time. I mostly would just have a lunch and a dinner and I wouldn't really have a breakfast. So it's been successful so far. My lunches, I have been having falafel wraps. I made a lovely pot of lentil soup, which I've had. I also took some pictures of how I portioned up this soup because I used to put them into takeaway containers, but that was too big a portion. And it's the little kiddies bowls that you can get from IKEA or B&M. That seems to be the perfect portion size for me now. So I just filled up 5 of these bowls, put them onto a baking tray and sat them in the freezer overnight. The following morning, I added some water, some hot water from the kettle to the tray, just so that the bottom of the bowl would melt or soften slightly enough that the frozen portion would pop out, and then the frozen portions have now been put into a storage bag. So rather than having 5 tubs in the freezer taking up space, I've got one freezer bag with 5 portions in it, and when I want to take a portion out, I can just pop it straight into that bowl into the fridge overnight, and then I've got my soup perfectly portioned for me. So I was quite pleased with that. I also bought and tried cottage cheese. I took a video of me sampling the cottage cheese and I really liked it. It's not very nice on its own, for me anyway. It's got a bit of a sourness to it that I'm not particularly fond of. It's more like sour cream than it is cream cheese in my opinion. And then I tried some savoury with tomatoes on top. That was very nice. But even better is that I tried it with strawberries and honey, and oh my days, it was to die for. I really enjoyed it. And in fact, I ended up, rather than having my smoothie for breakfast this morning, I toasted a wholemeal pita bread and I had the cottage cheese with sliced strawberries and quite a good drizzling of honey on top, and it was delicious. It was so good. I really want to get into cottage cheese because it's really versatile and you can add it to a lot of different meals. You can have it at breakfast, lunch or dinner, and it's really high in protein. People seem to be going absolutely crazy about cottage cheese online at the moment, so I'm happy to jump in that bandwagon. I did have it with a boiled egg. So one day for lunch, I just boiled 1 egg. I think I put 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese, mashed it all up together and put that on a slice of sourdough toast. So rather than it usually be an egg meal, it was this extra protein packed sort of lunch or snack, and it worked really well. It's definitely something I would have again. I didn't season it and it really needed it. Maybe a nice little drizzle of olive oil on top would probably, and some tomatoes maybe. I've always liked having tomatoes with my egg meal. And then for my dinners, they've been going really well as well. I bought fish this week for the first time in a long time. I bought salmon for the first time in forever. I do like salmon, I just never really make it. And so I've been having sea bass with roasted veg. Sea bass just cooked in a pan with the roasted veg cooked in an air fryer. That's been really nice. One day I couldn't actually finish it. I think I just cut up too many potatoes with my veg. And the salmon, so I roasted this in the oven. I made up a little sort of glaze of honey, lemon, garlic and soy sauce, poured that on top, roasted that in the oven for about 20 minutes, cooked up a bag of rice from Aldi. So this is a pre-packed bag of rice. It's also got, I think it has quinoa, and it's also got sunflower and pumpkin seeds through it. And then had some veg on the side where I'd boiled broccoli, but then I steamed some sugar snaps and edamame beans, frozen edamame beans. And oh, it was so nice. It was really tasty, everything all together. It's definitely, salmon's a really strong flavour. Don't think I could have that every week, but definitely maybe once a month. If I can try and have it once a fortnight, I would be really happy with that. I've been making the most amazing chicken stir fry where I use the already cooked frozen chicken in Aldi, the one that's already been sliced or diced. It's really convenient when you're cooking for one. You can manage your portions really great rather than using a whole chicken breast. So I've been weighing out 100 grams of the chicken. I think works out to about 25 grams of protein. And then I had a lot of chopped veggies, just whatever I had in my fridge, which most of the time is always going to be peppers and courgettes. I could have added carrots. I decided not to. I was trying to keep most of the veggies green. So the only coloured veggies in there were the yellow and red peppers. I had some mushrooms as well, which was great. Was able to throw them in, didn't even notice them. And of course, the frozen edamame beans from the freezer were an absolute godsend. They're really tasty. They're so quick to cook. They're cheap to buy. So I've got them on hand. And I made up the most incredible sauce. Now, usually whenever I make a stir fry, I always buy a packet of sauce, but for some reason, I just made one. I didn't even give it any thought or consideration. It wasn't a case of, I want to try and make this homemade. I just did it automatically, as if it's something that I've always done every time I have a stir fry. It was really, like, I like that way of thinking, like the way that my brain works differently towards food now. So I made this great homemade sauce with tomato puree, honey, soy sauce, lime, juice of a lime. And I also added in a sachet of miso. So it's meant to be a sachet for miso soup, but I just added that straight in. Miso is like incredibly good for you. So I cooked the chicken, then the veggies. I had that with just plain white rice on the side. This was the Uncle Ben's pre-portioned rice. I think it's like 60 something grams, 62.5 grams of rice or something. It really was the perfect portion. And then I would just throw in the sauce at the end and very quickly turn down the heat so that it didn't dry up too much. And then when I served it, put some sesame seeds on top. It looked so delicious, so professional, and it tasted amazing. It was probably the best stir fry I've ever made. I've made a lot of stir fries over the years. Billy loves when I make a stir fry. He just eats it straight from the pan. Like he will eat an enormous portion of it. But I really enjoyed the stir fries. I had a chicken Caesar salad one night as well. So I've really been enjoying my food. It's fresh, it's whole food. Everything is like made from scratch. So I'm really enjoying everything that I'm having. I'm eating really clean. I'm making sure I'm getting 3 meals a day, protein at every meal, trying to keep the carbs low, but making sure I've got enough for energy as well. Getting a lot of vegetables in there as well. And everything that I'm making and everything I'm having, it doesn't feel like a chore. Like I'm really enjoying everything that I'm having. Most of the time when I go to make something, I'm just not hungry at all. But it's not a struggle to eat the food. It's a case of that I don't feel hungry. I don't really want to eat anything, but I know I have to eat something. So then I will prepare the meal and I eat it and it's perfectly fine. I feel exactly the same afterwards as I did before I ate it. So it's, it's very much mind over matter. I just get on with it. There was one night that I thought, you haven't had any chocolate. Maybe you should just try it to see. In the fridge, I didn't buy any chocolate this week, but I did have these like nice thin bars that you get out of Aldi. You get 5 in a pack, and it's dark chocolate with salted caramel through it. And so the bar is about this big, about the size of this. Maybe like it's a little bit wider, maybe not as tall, certainly not as thick. It's really thin. It's about as thin as that, but about this size. That's a really nice picture. I ended up snapping that in half, and I just ate half of it. So it's probably the equivalent of 2 squares of chocolate. And it was like I ate it and nothing. I didn't feel anything, nothing at all. I was kind of like, I could have done without it. I don't want to eat the rest of it. You know, I'm just like, I really just wasn't bothered about it at all. It's nice to know. I mean, over the years with diet, and they always say dark chocolate is really good for you. If you have a sweet tooth, try just having a square or 2 of dark chocolate. And it's never satisfied the sweet tooth. But it's kind of nice to know that maybe whenever I do get a sweet tooth, having just a little bit of that bar really will be enough. Yeah. So I mentioned at the beginning that I've been fasting every day. There's at least 15 hours between my last meal in the evening and before my first meal in the day. Now, before I started Mounjaro, I was doing intermittent fasting, and I have a fasting app where I track the time every time that I start eating and finish eating at the end of the day. And typically I tend to go anywhere between 16 and 18 hours. It's not a struggle for me to do this. I know some people that struggle to fast for even 13 hours a day. It's just something that's quite natural to me. I've always had a kind of rule where I don't like to eat past 7 o'clock in the evening if I can help it. Sometimes, you know, depending on occasion or who you've got round, or you're having a movie night and you want some treats or whatever, like it's not always possible. But that just generally tends to be my norm. So since starting Mounjaro, I've continued to use the app where I log my eating window. And when I looked over the last week, every day on average, it was a minimum of 15 hours a day. I think one day it was up at 18 or 19 hours. This is because I'm still trying to work on getting breakfast. And I think I've been having breakfast quite late, you know, kind of, I want to be sort of having it between 9:30, 10, but sometimes it's like 11 or 11:30 before I have my breakfast. I did research whether you can fast when on Mounjaro. Like, can you do a fast beyond 24 hours? And they really recommend not to do that, that you definitely want to be eating regularly, and that by eating regularly, somehow it makes the drug work better. I don't know if there's people out there that have attempted it. If you have and you've had any success with it without any adverse side effects, please comment below and let me know. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to do, but I'm just generally really interested. I'm a big advocate for fasting. I think fasting is a huge benefit to our bodies, to let your body slow down and recover, to get into autophagy stage. I fasted on and on for years. That's always been like a big part of my life. But part of my fasting app is that it has a meal scanner, so you can track your meals on there if you want to. I'm pretty sure I spoke about this in another video where I said that I wasn't interested in tracking my foods just now. There is a reason for that. That's for another video at a later date. I'm just not entirely comfortable with tracking everything. And because I was taking photos of my meals all the time to try and use them for my videos, I ended up just uploading them to the app to see if I was on target with my protein. So I've kind of been tracking a little bit of what, but not getting too fixated on it, just using it as a bit of a rough guide at the moment. Just the last thing that I will say about the food, I do need to do a little bit of research on this. I was messaging Billy before the weekend, sort of talking to him about protein, and that there's so many mixed advice out there that when you're losing weight, how much protein you should be eating. So there's some sources that say that you should be having 1 gram of protein for every pound that you weigh. And then there's others that say you should be, if you're trying to lose weight and you're working out, you should be eating 1 gram of protein for your desired weight. And so I was messaging Billy, and you know, Billy has been bulking up muscle wise for years, and he's done a lot of research about protein and how much he should be having, and he's drastically changed his diet to incorporate more protein and to work on all of his other macros. But I was just talking to him about it, and he kind of gave me a bit of an idea. He said, on average, this is what men should be and this is what women should be. I'm like, is that the typical, you know, the NHS guidelines of women should be eating 2,000 calories a day, and which I'm not an advocate for. He was like, obviously, I've not really looked into it for women. He says, I just know that I've come across sources that say, I think it was something like that women should be having 45 grams of protein a day to sort of maintain like the average woman. I don't know if that's an active woman or like a woman that is got like a desk job. I don't know. But I think he'd worked out that it's something like 0.3 grams for every pound that you weigh, 0.3 or 0.4. I think it worked out for me that it was between 40 and 60 grams a day. And I'm thinking, well, considering I probably was barely even getting 15 grams, I think if I at least just aim for between 40 and 60 grams a day, then, you know, I'll do that for a while whilst I am building up my fitness side of things. And eventually one day I'll really get into the nitty gritty of, you know, working out exactly what do I need. But I think for now, you know, for baby steps, I'm making progress. I'm working towards the right goals and directions. So that's all that I'm doing at the moment, and I'll see how I get on with that. Okay, so getting back to the highlights at the beginning of the video. So I mentioned about vitamins. I also mentioned about collagen and creatine and electrolytes. So electrolytes is something that I have only just recently started having in the last couple of months. I don't have them every day, but if I know if it's a day that I'm going to be really active, like if I'm going to be outside doing gardening or cutting the grass and I know I'm going to be sweating, I will absolutely make up an electrolyte drink. I've been taking vitamins for a couple of years. I take a lot of them to help with my health conditions, with my gut health and with my fibromyalgia. But the important thing is that I was remembering to take them every day, because there are some times that I won't take them or I'll forget. I was happy that I was on track with them. I was drinking well over 2 litres of fluids every day. I haven't had any alcohol. I'm not really a big alcoholic drinker, except when I'm on holiday. I will probably have a drink every day. But at home in the evening or at the weekend, I'm not one for having an alcoholic drink. So every day I've been having a drink with the collagen and the creatine, also with added inulin to help with gut health. I have coffee every day. I've started bringing back herbal teas. I've been really enjoying my herbal teas every day. Obviously having water. Sometimes I have diluting juice with them, and then I will also have electrolytes. Most days I'm getting over 3 litres quite easily. I've always been the kind of person that I naturally can just drink quite a lot throughout the day. There are some people that really struggle to get their daily 2 litres of water. It's never been a concern for me. A couple of years ago, tracked on average, for a month, I tracked how much fluids I would have throughout a day. And when I was dieting and really making an effort to drink water, I could have over, like some days between 4 and 5 litres of fluid a day. And then just on an average day, when I'm not even thinking about it, I get about 2.5. So I've been maintaining that, and it's been good. And I've been really enjoying my new bottles. I got these, I did a video after my Aldi shop, and I picked up this bottle and another one, the exact same one, and it's blue. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to get, and I really like them. Like I like that they hold more than the last bottle of water that I had. I like the little messages on them. I like actually checking the times to see, am I on track? Even if I've already had my coffee or my herbal teas, I'm still checking, am I on track with this? It does have the mils on the back as well, but I always tend to look at these. And it's really easy to drink out the nozzle. And it's nice and solid, it's nice and sturdy, so I can carry it about the place. I'm so glad I bought these bottles. I'm really happy with them. So the last thing on my list was that I remembered to take my jab, because in my first week, I don't know if I mentioned this at all, but my brain fog was really bad. And I don't know if it was because my sleep was so bad that my brain fog was worse, but I would just like stop talking mid-sentence and completely forget what I was talking about. Or I would be in the middle of a task and it would like somebody blindfolded me, and all of a sudden I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Like, my brain fog was so bad in my first week. I can definitely confirm that in my second week, my brain fog is nowhere near as bad. It's probably gone back to normal. I've been losing track of what day of the week it is. All day yesterday, I was convinced it was Wednesday, and it wasn't. It was Monday. And today's Tuesday, and I had to keep reminding myself, what day is it today? Usually, I never even need to think about it. I just know what day of the week it is. Like, it's just, I just do. Like, I can't explain it. But this last week, I've been really confused, and I had to kind of think. I've had to sort of pause and ask myself, what day is it? So hopefully next week that goes away. But next week I'm on holiday, so I won't really care what day of the week it is, to be honest, or what time it is. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums up my week. So my second week has absolutely gone better than my first week. My weight loss could be better, but I had a loss, and I'm only aiming between 1 and 2 pounds a week. So the fact that I got 1.4, you know, like nearly 1.5, I'm really happy with that. I'm happy with all the changes that I'm making. I am so happy with how amazing my meals are and how much I'm enjoying my food, even though I'm not even hungry, and I don't even want to, I don't even particularly want to eat, but I am eating. It's not a struggle. It's not a chore. I feel exactly the same afterwards. I've not been nauseous. I've had bowel movements every day. I've not been constipated. I did have the runs once, but that was just that incident after the smoothie. I definitely feel an improvement in my gut, that my gut health, I do feel there's less activity going on because obviously everything is slowed down, but I can really feel it. I mean, I'm normally always so aware of lots going on in my stomach. I'm probably not as gassy as I was. I just hope that my sleep begins to improve over this next week, and that it's not too disrupted whilst I'm away on holiday as well. And it will be a big test to see how I cope food-wise and alcohol-wise whilst I'm on holiday. That's going to be a real novelty, and it's precisely why I didn't want to wait until after the holiday before starting the Mounjaro. I thought this will not be the first time over the next year that I'm going to be going abroad. This is just going to be a part of my life now. Yeah, so quite happy with that. So that has been my second week summary of my Mounjaro journey. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe so that you can keep up to date with all of my future posts and how my journey continues. Please keep an eye out for my channel. There'll be other videos that are not Mounjaro related. I'm planning on making videos about gardening and projects that I have going on around the house. I even made a video earlier today about dyeing my hair. So, brain fog. So if you liked this video, please subscribe so that you can keep up to date with anything new that I post. I'm still very new to all of this. Hopefully my videos will get better over time. And if you have any comments on the progress that I've made this week, or any of the points that I've highlighted, or you want to share your progress, where you are on your journey, or any hurdles that you've dealt with, please leave comments below. It would be really great to hear from people that are going through the same, or that are considering it, or maybe they're at the other end of it. Regardless, it would just be really nice to hear from people. Thank you so much again for watching my video, and I'll see you next time.